Now, this governing body of the Jehovah Witnesses, they are promoting this virus right along with the news station. And so, growing up at the Kingdom Hall and with the Jehovah Witnesses, they always would push Acts chapter 15. Now let's go to Acts chapter 15 in their New World Translation and read the verse that they used to push all the time. They push this verse more than any Edomite religion or philosophy. Now, let's see here. Acts 15, verse 29. It says to keep abstaining from things sacrificed to idols, from blood, from what is strangled, and from sexual immorality. If you carefully keep yourselves from these things, you will prosper. Good health to you. You see, that was the foundation teaching of the governing body and the Jehovah Witnesses, so-called Christian congregation. And so they would give you blood cards for doctors, and they would tell you to abstain from blood. Now that this so-called virus is out here, what are they doing? Are they still practicing that? Because they're telling people that they don't make decisions for individuals, and they're not telling them that they shouldn't take blood. Because in order to have any kind of vaccine that's created, you have to use the horsecrab blood. It's a necessity that you use the horsecrab blood to detect bacteria in the vaccine. And so if you is so-called following the Bible and you supposed to be abstaining from blood, that's a contradiction. But these individuals who's running this organization, they are not the ones to be following, because they are not following the scriptures. Now, these individuals, first of all, break the first and the worst rule dealing with the Bible. Let's go to Revelation, because this exposed them on the wide scale. Revelation chapter 21, Salakia chapter 22. It says in verse 18, I am bearing witness to everyone who hears the words of the prophecy of this scroll. If anyone makes an addition to these things, God will add to him the plagues that is written in this scroll. 19. And if anyone takes anything away from the words of the scroll of this prophecy, God will take his portion away from the trees of life and out of the holy city, things that are written about in the scroll. So they are very, very slick in doing that. I got two verses in mind where they change the verse to fit their doctrine. Now you got 2 Thessalonians, 2 Thessalonians chapter 3, and what is it? Verse 3. Chapter 3, verse 3 in 2 Thessalonians. It says, "But the Lord is faithful, and he will strengthen you and protect you from the wicked one." That's how it reads in the New World Translation. Now, you can tell they're trying to promote this wicked one, this mysterious wicked angel, because look at what the King James Version says. This is before any European person got hold of the scrolls. The King James, who was a certified Negro, so-called Negro, he got individuals to translate the book before these individuals got hold to it. Now, 2 Thessalonians, the 3rd chapter, the 3rd verse in the King James say, "But the Lord is faithful, who shall establish you and keep you from evil." Keep you from evil, not the wicked one. You see, they trying to promote this devil stuff. This wicked angel who is against God. You see, that's what they trying to promote. And see, they're changing, adding. They added that into that. That is just saying plain evil. The Lord will keep you away from evil, bad times. Eve meaning bad, meaning times, and ill meaning bad. Keep you from bad times. That's what the verse was talking about. Not the stuff that they put in there. Now another verse. Let's try 1 John 5:19. Now, when you look at the New World Translation in 1 John 5:19, it says the wicked one. But in the King James, it says, "And we know that we are of God, and the whole world lieth in wickedness." You see? The whole world lieth in wickedness. So these so-called governing body people who's pushing out this New World Translation, they are changing the Bible, adding to the Bible, when that's not something that the Bible says anything about this wicked one, especially in the New Testament. It's not talking about a wicked one. Now let's look at 2 Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter, and see what they are putting in there in the 2nd chapter of 2 Thessalonians, because it talks about something around about that situation. Now there go another chain. In verse 8 it say, "Indeed, the lawless one will be revealed." Now in the King James it say the wicked will be revealed. You see? Because they couldn't put the wicked one, because that would contradict verse 9. Verse 9 say, "But the lawless," this is in the New World Translation, "but the lawless one presence is by the operation of Satan." So they couldn't put wicked one here. They had to put lawless one. You see, and this is the wicked is talking about a specific people. Now let's go to Malachi where it talks about the wicked and see what this New World Translation has to say, because they love adding and taking away from the word. Now let's see here, Malachi, the 1st chapter. Now, okay, it says Edom. Now it says Edom will be called the territory of wickedness. Now, it's not, when you go into the King James, 1 John 5:19. 1 John 5:19, what does it say? We're going to repeat that one. It says, and we know that we are of God, and the whole world lieth in wickedness. You see? So Edom would be called the territory of wickedness, because Edom rules the world. And when you go to their publications, it tells you and shows you the chart in Daniel, and the feet of the chart show you how Greece, the Romans, and the Anglo-Saxon, as they call themselves, as they call the people that's ruling the world, Anglo-Saxon, and the United Nations, they use those terminologies. But when we talking about the people, all of those people are Edomites. The Greeks was Edomites, the Romans was Edomites, and the Anglo-Saxon, who they call Anglo-Saxon, are Edomites. And those people that's running the United Nations, they are Edomites. And so that's why the world is lying in wickedness, because Edom, the territory of wickedness, according to the New World's Translation, is ruling. And let's back that up with Job. Let's see what they say in the New World's Translation. Now, they didn't change Job because they don't go into the Old Testament as much as they do the New Testament. Job 9:24, the earth has been handed over to the wicked. You see, the earth has been handed over to the wicked. He covereth the eyes of its judges. You see that? It went from he covers the face of the judges. You see? That's a total different thing. In the King James, it say he covered the faces of the judges. But in Job, he say, in the New World's Translation, it say he covered the eye of its judges. And if it is not he, then who is it? You see how these dragons are slick. They change, they take away, and they add to the word where it is not supposed to be added. And those are the key points where you find out who is the man, the lawless one, the wicked. That's how he's revealed, because you have to reveal him through the precepts. And they change the precepts so he cannot be revealed. You see? They change the precepts so they cannot be revealed. Then, in Deuteronomy 28, they had the nerve to say that the people sold themselves. Deuteronomy 28:68. It says in this is the New World's Translation. It says, you will never see it again, and there you will have to sell yourselves to your enemies as male and female slaves, but there will be no buyer. You see? That don't even make sense. You're going to have to sell yourself to somebody, and then it's not going to be nobody to buy you. So what you going to do? Why even bring up this situation if they going to try to sell themselves? That's like somebody try to be a prostitute, but ain't nobody on the corner to buy her. She wasting her time even going out there. But that's a lie, because the King James say totally different, and it makes sense what the King James say And that's why these dragons are taken away and added to the word. Because the King James say something totally, never say they sold, they will have to sell themselves. No, it say you will be sold to your enemies. Clearly, you will be sold to your enemies for slave man and slave woman. Clear. But they changed the word, and people go along with these dragons because they are the lawless ones. They are the man of sin, the man of destruction, the wicked. That's who these individuals they come from, that nation. Now let's go to Numbers 24 and see if they butchered that verse, because they are butchering a lot of these verses. Because in 24 of Numbers, it broke down how these Edomites were going to captivity. In verse 18, it says, this is in Numbers 24:18, and Edom will become a possession, yes, Seir, the possession of his enemies, while Israel is displaying his courage. Okay. It's okay, and it says in 20 of 24 of Numbers 24:20, when he saw Amalek, the grandson of Esau, he continued his parable, saying, Amalek was the first of the nations, but in the end he will perish. You see, so that these Edomites will go into captivity, possession. They will be a possession of Israel, because Israel and Edom are battling each other. And let's get the prophecy about how they're going to battle each other. You got two prophecies in Genesis. You got one in Genesis 25. Let's see if they butchered this verse. Genesis 25. And 23. It says, and Yahweh said unto her, this is in the New World's Translation, 2 nations are in your womb, and 2 people will be separated from within you. And you see that? Will be separated from within you. See? They changing the word. The King James say 2 nations will be separated from each other. The one nation will be stronger than the other nation, and the older nation will serve the younger. So that is the prophecy, how Esau will have to serve Israel, be a slave to the Israelites. And so that's what Edom will be a possession. And they never have. They never did. And the prophecy is starting to come. And that's what's going on with Daniel 2:44. Daniel 2:44 lets you know. Let's get Daniel right quick and see if they butchered that verse, because they love quoting it when it comes to their theology. Let's see if they butchered that verse. Daniel 2:44. Salakia. Daniel 2:44 says, in the days of those kings, the God of heaven will set up a kingdom that will never be destroyed, and this kingdom will not be passed on to any other people. Okay, they didn't butcher the verse, because that's the people that it's talking about is the Israelites. And it will not be passed on to any other people, because they will have all these other nations in captivity, and they will be the only people that will be ruling in that kingdom. Going on with the verse, it will crush and put an end to all these kingdoms, and it alone will stand forever. You see? And so, even, well, you know, Daniel is an Israelite, and he's talking about the Israelites. He's not talking about nobody else. He's talking about his peoples. But it's just the fact that, you know, they gonna tell you that he talking about Jehovah Shah, who they ignorantly call Jesus Christ. He gonna set up a kingdom. That's what the Jehovah Wickedness is gonna tell you. His kingdom is for everybody, when his kingdom is not for everybody. It was for the Israelites, because the Israelites was in slavery in Babylon. But anyhow, I'm gonna leave it there. These we call them Jehovah Wickedness because that's who runs the organization. A bunch of Edomites. This one, maybe possible Israelite. Never know, his daddy could be an Edomite, but he possibly could be an Israelite. He joined the organization in 1999, and he the only one that ever been a part of the organization on that top level, because these peoples are Edomites, and they running that organization. But I'm gonna leave it there. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem, Rikakadash. Double honors to the elders pushing the truth. Peace to the elect worldwide. The kingdom is at hand. Shalom.